Welcome, risers. It's that time once again for the Agent Rise podcast. I'm your host, Neil Mathwig, joined by Eddie Brady today. Welcome, my friend. You're no stranger to the show, and you're no stranger to Agent Rise. It's so awesome to have you back. How are you today, my friend?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me back on, Neil.
Today, I just want to sit down with you and just paint the picture. I want agents to see where you came from, where it all began. What challenges did you see when you first got started? How have you built your business? You've built it around the Agent Rise 3 pillars, but what do those 3 pillars look like? How have you exactly done it? We're going to get into talking about YouTube. We're going to talk about Instagram. We're talking about our sphere. There's a lot we're going to cover today. So Eddie, let's start. Let's go to day one. Let's get there. Just became an agent. What did you do before you became an agent? And what got you started?
I was in the government for almost 10 years before I became a full-time real estate agent. Now, I was part-time in the government building the business. And just to give a little backstory there, I built enough of a business while I was part-time in the government with my coworkers that I was at kind of a breaking point with my time. It was either go all in on real estate or go all in back to work because I couldn't do both. I just couldn't invest in both with the amount of time it was taking. So I went into full-time real estate in 2021. It was December of 2021. And at that point, I think I had said this maybe in a past episode, but at that point in my real estate career, I'd only made about half as much as I would need to make in order to, pay all the bills and do everything, being the breadwinner of the family. So knowing that going full-time, I'd have to double that was a lot of pressure. And one of the things that made me take the leap is that I knew, I was listening to the podcast, the Agent Rise podcast, and it really helped me have confidence that, all right, if I just follow the steps, there's a way through to my the double that I needed in my business. So that's kind of what helped me jump.
And you committed, right? Like there was a moment there that you committed, and that's scary for a lot of people. What helped you take that leap?
Yeah. Well, first, I think maybe saying what attracted me to Agent Rise will show how I had the confidence for the leap. I mean, what stood out to me was that every single episode I was listening to, and this was before we started coaching together, every single episode kind of led back to this same thing. It was the 3-pillar plan. If you just follow this, you'll have a business that you love. And you were doing breakthrough weeks at the time. And those showed me, all right, if I just pick something and just go really, really hard at it, it's going to work, and I saw the proof, I think, in the other agents in the breakthrough weeks. And I loved how simple the plan was. We all can look on YouTube or go to conferences and get like 40 ideas of how to build businesses, but it was so simple that it made it, I guess, easier for me to jump and know that, all right, if I just do these 3 pillars and all the things around it to keep them moving, then I'm good.
And we started out working on your sphere of influence. And one of the things that I suggested that we do is start mailing newsletters. And a lot, the mailing really rubs people wrong because it's so outdated. What were your thoughts around all of that?
Yeah, I thought it was really outdated. I think I was laughing when you were saying to do it. And because, you think about it, you think everything is so tech forward that stuff doesn't work anymore. That's exactly why it does. And I just, when I went into this, I went into it knowing, all right, if I'm going to give it a shot, I have to take all of the advice of Agent Rise. I'm sticking to one coach. I'm sticking with Neil. I'm going to follow every piece of advice he gives, even if it's uncomfortable and even if I don't agree, right? And that was one of them. So I just said, all right, I'll do it. I sent my announcement letter, and then the next month I sent my newsletter out, and I actually got a lot of really great responses from my newsletter, and it proved me wrong. But the reason it works is I think mailboxes aren't that busy anymore. It's your email inbox that's so busy. And some of ours are insane now. If you get 100 new emails a day, so people can't even focus on your email a lot of times, but in their mailbox, it makes sense now thinking about it. There's just not that much in there. And if they get a handwritten one or even just like hand labeled, it stands out. So that it works. I've got a ton of business from it, especially from my sphere. That's where it goes, but a ton of referral business from it. And I've done it every single month since.
we've built the sphere of influence pillar, and we were trying to figure out your chase pillar and your attraction pillar. Now, we dabbled with Facebook ads back in the day. It was a hot thing, and these were more of like chase leads, and that really didn't excite you too much. How did we get into YouTube? What was, there's a lot of different options and a lot of things for you to pick from, but how did you get there?
Yeah, yeah, I didn't really want to do YouTube at first because I think, we're all pretty uncomfortable with putting our face on camera. And I was just getting into Instagram in a totally different strategy than I do today. And we can talk about that later. But, Instagram wasn't producing leads. It was more of that meme style that was going around then, like funny agent stuff. And that didn't get business. So when you talked about YouTube, it was really appealing. It's just, it seemed like such a big project to start, and what made me do it is seeing other agents crushing it on there and getting really great business on there. And that's what made me take it seriously and say, all right, I'm going all in. But I waited. I think you've probably told me, or you told me maybe 3 times to do it. And I'm the type, you know this, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going all in. So I was hesitant to say it until I was really ready. And once I did, I dove in head first, just knowing that the business will come if I just stick with it.
And you did. You put your head down and focused, and it was some time before it took off, right?
But yeah, I mean, I think my first lead was closer to 8 months. I have to go, it's kind of hard to track, but it's between 6 and 8 months that I got my first lead. And that was just one. But the mindset I had, luckily I watched a YouTube video by Mr. Beast at the time when I was starting, just like, trying to get advice on it. And he said something that was just really great advice about starting a channel. And that's, don't even look up until you've done 100 videos, right? Like, obviously improve and get better, but don't even think you can judge whether or not the result is there until you've done 100 videos. And I took that mindset and said the same thing. I'm not, if it takes me 100 videos to get my first lead, that's fine. That's like the cost of admission, right? And I got it obviously way, way before that. But when you have that mindset, it's definitely going to work if you have 100 video mindset, but it won't take that long. It could take 10 videos before you get your first. But for me, I was just ready for that.
And the results. I mean, the first year you it was about 100,000 in gross commission. Second year is about 200,000, and now you're on pace for 300,000. Is that
Yeah.
right?
That's right. Yeah.
So the
Yeah, and when
results
we
are
add in
there.
Instagram, I think we'll be ramping up even significantly more than that. And, it's if you stick with it, the momentum just builds. And I think that's the point about YouTube is, people will do a video, they'll wait 2 weeks, maybe do another, wait a month, and then spit out two. But consistency is the name of the game with YouTube. And if you just do one video a week, and you can do more, but just one a week, and that's the type of pace that you can expect, and even faster growth than that. We are in a state that is attracting way fewer relocation buyers in Maryland than others. If you're in a state that is a heavy migration state, like inbound migration, you could see a crazy result from this. We're the opposite.
Wow, and you've got a couple rules that I've heard you say that are just so crucial. One is to get an editor, and the other one is to
Yeah.
video a week, right? And if you're
Yes.
not willing to do those, save yourself some time, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just don't give yourself the headache of starting your channel if you won't do at least a video a week. And it's mainly because YouTube will not push your content if you do not do that. And you'll be amazed how much better you get if you do it that way. But if you don't do at least a video a week, then YouTube is not going to see you as a consistent source that people subscribe to. Because remember, YouTube is like Netflix in a way. When people subscribe, they're saying they want to watch your content on TV. The majority of my viewers are on an actual television. Just think that through, right? So they are actually subscribing to you like Netflix or Prime or whatever, and they want to see your video. And if you don't show up, YouTube doesn't like that, right? So one video a week, bare minimum, and start off with an editor. Don't start off trying to learn the editing and then later on do the editor. Just right away, hire an editor, and it's totally worth it.
And an editor, we're finding anywhere between like 60 and $80 a video, right? So it's, and there's a lot of great editors out there. And with AI, editing is getting even faster. I mean, we're talking, and guys, if you want to stay tuned to all of this, we're trying to figure out how to edit videos faster using AI, but still using us in the video. And we're the ones putting the videos together. But after we put it together, it goes off to AI for editing. If you're interested in that, we're going to be teaching more of this as we're learning it. Just text the word YouTube to 833 500 1135. What are some of the things, Eddie, that help you get the work done? I've seen you just get the work done. How do you look at that?
Yeah, and just expect that it will be hard in the beginning because it's a new skill. Talking on a camera for YouTube is way different than talking on Instagram, like the yapping style. So you have to get used to reading a script or bullet points for a script or buckets, and there's different styles. So expect it to be hard at least for the first 10 to 12 videos. Don't be so hard on yourself in that time period. Just know that it will grow, and before you know it, it's going to be smooth, right? So just expect that. What makes it easier for me when I went from filming one video a week to filming bi-weekly and now filming once a month, that's what made it totally doable for me because we're very busy as realtors, right? And that's the goal. And even if we're not, like life gets in the way. And if you miss one video and you're filming once a week, it throws you off. Where if you have the scripts ready for one day a month, and at the end of the month you're kind of messed up on a day, you just bump it to the next day and you still have a month of content ahead. It's the best thing I've done is to batch that content, 4 videos on one day a month. And then when you're going to script, it's like do all 4 scripts at the same time. And then when you film all 4 at the same time, you're already in your stuff. I film just like this. I put a black t-shirt on just like this where I don't have to think about it. And I just go from script to script to script. I don't change. Sometimes I change the light behind me. Maybe I don't. People don't care, right? So keep it simple. And the more you batch, the more consistent you'll be with it.
So that's the third rule, right? We
Yeah.
talked. We gotta do a video a week. We've got to do an editor and batching. I mean, really, batching is great. You have that one video production day a month. You got the whole month to prepare your scripts. You go in and you record, and you get it all done and sent off to the editor. I think that is such an awesome workflow. What are some things mentally? Like we got to get ready to record. I'll never forget. I'm gonna take your answer by telling this story, but I just love this story. We were on a group coaching session. There was 6 of us on the call, and the question was, is how do you get ready to record? What do you guys do? Do you psych yourself up? What do you do? Do it on a certain time of the month, certain year, certain day? Like, what's your rhythm and how do you get ready? And we went around the room and everybody had great advice and different things that they do to get ready to record and how they do it. And uh like what do they do to fire themselves up? And we got around to Eddie, and Eddie says, guys, there's never a time that I'm excited to record a video. It's work, and it's work that needs to be done. So you look at it like work, right? I know I took your thunder there, but can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because for me, we all enjoy different parts of the process. I don't enjoy the filming part because, like a lot of you, when you're filming, you might stutter a lot. It takes you a lot of repetition, to get it right. And that wasn't the fun part for me. My favorite part about YouTube is watching the funnel work and thinking, if I just, change my script a little bit here and my copy, then they all of a sudden the appointments come in. I like that part of it. I do not like filming. Even now, I don't enjoy it. I just do it, and I just don't think about it. I could have a deal literally just falling apart, and I put that aside and go film, and I get right back into my day because it's just another part of work. And just it reminds me of a big mistake people make with it is you think you have to either be in a good mood or comfortable to film when that has nothing to do with it. It's just like if you were cold calling or anything else, way better with clients. And we'll get into that, I'm sure, but it's work. So think, all right, me sitting down and talking to this camera, whether I feel like it or not, could bring me 3 or 4 new buyers for the right video. I'm sure I've had some videos with 7 or 8 buyers. Think about the commission that comes from one video and me sitting down for 12 to 15 minutes. I mean, you could have a 100K video just from sitting down for 10 minutes even. So when you think about it that way, it's work. This is making me money. This is feeding the family. It's just a totally different mindset.
Yeah, it's like the farmer that just has to scoop up the poop, you know? I mean, you
Yeah.
don't like doing it, but it's gotta be done,
No.
right?
Yeah, got to get it done. Yeah.
That's right,
Yeah.
I don't know why
Except
that
you could
came
be
to
in
my
your
mind, but
basement studio, like, and
right.
not out in the field. Yeah.
Yeah, at least you're in
So,
a studio, in an air-conditioned
yeah,
studio,
climate
right?
controlled. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Now, before we get talking about Instagram, we've gotta talk about how YouTube was taken away from you. And there was a moment, back last year, right around Thanksgiving, if you could tell us what happened and how you adjusted through this.
Yeah. Well, my channel was pretty much cranking, and doing fine. Everything, we're just on repeat, putting out the videos, actually putting out a lot of shorts at the time. And so, I woke up on Black Friday morning to this really weird email about a violation on one of my videos. It's like, that's pretty odd that I violated community guidelines. And then I went to go and check my channel and it was nowhere to be found. So I'm looking through email. I'm like, oh, I got another one. It says I violated, pretty bad community guideline. I'm like, I wouldn't do that. Um, and there was no way for me to see what it was, what exactly happened, or my channel at all. When YouTube terminates your channel, it is gone. It is completely gone. You can't see your own back end. You can't see your YouTube studio. You have zero access. So I had to, first of all, I was like blown away. I started thinking, well, what happens if it doesn't come back? All the emotions, like it's like your baby that you've worked on
Mhm.
on. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe an appeal will bring this back. I appealed it to every possible arena or every possible link, every possible person that you're supposed to go through for the creators program. And I was just told, no, what you did was so bad, you can never come back. And I'm like, what did I do? I'm putting up real estate videos. There's nothing crazy, nothing controversial. And I was told that it was reviewed by humans and all that. And eventually, after trying nonstop to get it back, even submitting it to their hacking department, thinking I was hacked, they removed every ability for me to reach out to Google or YouTube about my channel. So I was dead in the water, no channel, and my leads dried up just like that. And it really opened up my eyes to me realizing you don't own that. You don't own your YouTube channel. Once they're gone, like those subscribers, you don't have their information anymore. You can't go and you can't even message them on YouTube. You don't know who's truly subscribed. So once they're gone, they're gone. So just like that, my appointments stopped getting scheduled. And I think I told you, Neil, I was very upset and I gave myself through the weekend. I'm like, I will sulk through the weekend through Sunday. I'm going to give myself that. But on Monday, I have to do something. And I'm already kind of testing out this Instagram thing I've learned about, this lifestyle thing. Like I have to go all in. It's the only route I see right now that like kind of fits my style. I got to go all in. And that's where the Instagram game kind of kicked off.
Wow, and we'll get into Instagram here. I'm really excited to talk about this because you're trailblazing with something, and it's really awesome to see. But before we do that, YouTube, we or should we wait to the end to let everybody know what happened with YouTube? No, we won't do that. Yeah, but
Cliffhanger.
you're able to get the channel back. Hail Mary happened, right?
Hail
And
Mary, yeah. A
yeah,
real Hail Mary, yeah. I used a site to find some top people on YouTube. It was a total long shot. Another Agent Rise member had given me this link, and I sent out email after email and just got rejected, rejected. No, email doesn't exist, but some pretty high up uh, personnel there, they caught wind of it, and I got an immediate email the next morning. This was 3 weeks after my channel had been gone. Leads dried up just like that, going from getting 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 scheduled appointments a week to zero. 3 weeks later, I sent out these emails, a true Hail Mary, and it just landed. And the next morning, I had someone basically tell me, "Hey, never do that again, but we're gonna, we're gonna check your channel." I got into the higher ups, and it worked. and I'm so glad it did. But what this taught me before we get into anything about Instagram is that you do not own anything on these platforms unless you have their contact information. And it completely changed the way I was using my call to actions and how I view these funnels. Like they are funnels to get their contact information, not to get likes or follows. So keep that in mind if you're starting any kind of pillar like this. Emails or contact information are everything. And I'm glad it woke me up now and that I have it back rather than later when the business was bigger, because
And
who knows?
that's that switch too, right? Like you saw it where you looked at social media as kind of like a waste almost. Like we're just gonna put this stuff out there and it's kind of like, just
Yeah.
seeing me be a real estate agent, all of that to wow, what if we could actually turn these into funnels? And
Yeah.
that's where YouTube is it has been, we've seen this work since 2017 with the living in and moving to framework. Like it is really working, but now taking it to the next level, getting the call to actions dialed in, getting the lead magnets dialed in, and focusing on getting emails is truly that social funnel that we're going after. Now, with Instagram, we saw, you go to your YouTube channel and it's all about relocating. It's, Maryland's relocation guide, Eddie Brady, here he is. And then you go over to Instagram and you see Family Guy,
Yeah.
photos from 4 years ago, like the last,
Just
like this
old.
family photo post, right? So your
Yeah.
Instagram didn't look like your YouTube. And
Yeah. Not at
so,
all.
but also we knew that we couldn't bring what was working over on YouTube. We couldn't bring that to Instagram. It's two different things. So,
Right.
explain the Instagram model and where you're heading with that.
Yeah, well, everything about YouTube and Instagram focuses on who is my viewer, who is my avatar, as we sometimes call it, my audience. And the audience on YouTube is just totally different. They're in a research phase. They are seriously considering a move and typing into Google what it's like to live there, the best neighborhoods. They're truly looking there. And while some people do that on Instagram, and they are currently for me, most people on Instagram are just scrolling and they are not a researcher. They're a dreamer, is what we kind of called it together. They're just dreamers. This looks cool. I'll follow this person to see what that area is like. So the content has to stick to more of a lifestyle thing. What is it like to live there? What attracts people to the area, and cater to the dreamer versus the heavy researcher. So once we kind of got the audience worked out, who is following, where are they moving from? Let's get in front of them. Then it really started to work. But yeah, my Instagram before was totally, there was no theme. It was just sold meme posts, and I was trying some things, but it wasn't working. Nothing was sticking to get new clients. It was zero new business. It was for my SOI.
Yeah, and now we've turned Instagram into a funnel, right? We've got people asking for guides and links to listings, and you've got many chats set up and direct messaging, and we're engaging in messengers and working their best to get their email address. So that's what we learned from losing YouTube, right? Like, is that we've got to have email addresses. That's the asset.
Exactly. Yeah, you need their email, because not only do you just have a way to reach out, you can retarget with the same thing you retarget your YouTube people with. And that's the great thing about these funnels, is it's not just a funnel for each one. You can use the same funnel from YouTube and Instagram, the same landing pages to the same, guides or, giveaways, whatever you're doing on there, on both platforms. And the goal is get the email, and then for me, retarget them with my weekly email so that they can see me every week. And if they're on Instagram, I want them to see my YouTube, right? If they're on YouTube, I want an appointment. So I am just constantly retargeting them from that, now that I'm so focused on emails.
Because that's the difference. Over on Instagram, they don't really get to know you personally, right? But with YouTube, that's one of the benefits of YouTube is that they meet you, they follow your videos, they feel like you're their guide, they get to know you, and then when they meet you, they feel like they already know you, and you met them for the first time, but they're like fanatics. That's not necessarily happening over on Instagram because it's more of a chase. It's more of a lead and a follow up and a follow up. And if we could get that follow up to get over to YouTube where they get to know you and see you as a guide, then we feel like we're going to get more and more from Instagram by doing that.
Right. Yeah. You have to get them somewhere into your ecosystem where they can see that you're serious about the business, because sometimes they don't even realize you're a realtor. Even if your name says it, your handle, they might not even see that. They're focused on the content. And there's so many lifestyle and travel creators out there that they don't really know. So if you can get them to either download your guide, get their contact information, that's how you can show them I'm really in this business and here's everything else that I'm doing here. Right. And bringing them from that dream phase to the research phase, you kind of need something else to give them other than just Instagram. Although it does work. Some people search for realtors in whatever state they're moving to on Instagram in the search feature, and you will show up if you're doing it right.
Right. Boy, and this all just kind of comes full circle here too, because the people that you're meeting on YouTube, when they set up an appointment with you and they form a relationship with you and you begin to work with them, they become a part of your sphere of influence. So when you first started, your sphere was probably around 100, and now that sphere number is going to get 200, 300, and everything is going to continue to grow. And you're now, getting into year number 5 of your career, 6 of your career, you're going to start getting repeat business. And that's where that building that sphere for all of these years is really going to pay off. YouTube is continuing to grow. We're adding Instagram, and boom, there is a beautiful 3-pillar plan.
Right. Yeah. It all starts to really come together. And, it's really encouraging to have it pay off. I think that's the thing to keep in mind here is if you just follow the plan and do the things, it works. It's actually crazy how it just works if you do it. And it's a consistency thing. We've talked about this a lot before, but now looking at everything, it's just encouraging. It's like all the work pays off if you just stick with it. Don't get distracted by the next like bright idea from someone else. Just stick to your lane and you will see the leads come in and great business come in through these.
That's it. And YouTube, I mean, starting with YouTube, it's just those first 10 videos, right? We've got the list, and we're happy to give those out. If you text the word YouTube to 833-500-1135, you start out with these 10 videos, then you get down into the neighborhoods. We also talk about going wide, meaning you do statewide things, and then go narrow, meaning get down into the neighborhoods. And you just follow this framework. And take some of the advice that Eddie's sharing, where you just become unattached and you look at it as work and you don't get so emotionally attached. I love when agents find their voice around YouTube and they stop worrying about their makeup, and they stop worrying about all of the things, and they just get the work done. And the results follow. So this is something that anybody that's listening to this, you can do it, right? Like that's our biggest encouragement at Agent Rise is like you see the 3-pillar plan. Eddie, when you looked at YouTube, I remember you telling me one time that you were an introverted and you didn't really like being on camera, right? And now
Yeah.
look at you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm the guy that hides from cameras at a family party. I don't like it. So and when I was with the government, I didn't have Facebook or Instagram or any of that. So, until the very end, I was like kind of figuring that out. It's very uncomfortable for me to go on camera. Even before doing something like this would be really just a huge leap for me. And just the amount of times I've talked to this camera in front of me has made it just where it's just doesn't bother me anymore. It's not
Yeah.
that I love it. It's just I don't think about it now.
Mm.
And something that holds new people back too is thinking you need like the perfect camera, the perfect backdrop, and everything. But some of my best videos were when we were moving rooms around for when our our second kid was born. My office was all messed up, and I just had a black backdrop, or like had to go into a different room to film, and they did amazing. People don't care. I was filming with my phone, I was filming with the selfie camera for a lot of the time before I realized it's better quality just to flip it around. And, the raw stuff sometimes does even better. So don't think you need like the blue, purple light and like perfect lighting. That's later. Good audio is great. Don't worry about the detail. Like you'll get better as you
That's
go.
it.
That's the little stuff each time. You're like, this video, I'm just going to change that light behind me, see if it looks better. And every time you film, if you do 100 videos, you'll end up with the same repeatable thing. I don't change a thing about my setup anymore. Unless I'm bored with the color, I might change a little bit of the hue of that, but that's it, right? It's right here every time. So don't overthink it. Just film it and those little things will come.
And so you got the framework. You also have AI to help you. Oh my gosh, right?
But yeah.
Think about that, right? You see you've got a list of videos that you need to produce. You've got how many different other agents out there producing these videos. Go grab their transcript, bring it into ChatGPT or Claude, and say, write this for my city, and add
Mhm.
your own flavor to it. Don't worry about getting cute in the beginning. You just got to get the information. You got to train YouTube to say, hey, I'm here. I'm going to represent our city here, and I'm going to put these videos out on a consistent basis. And then just get in the rhythm of it, right? And have fun with it. Eddie, I love, you mentioned it earlier in this podcast, but I want to highlight it. You were in the middle of we had a group coaching call. You had a transaction that was on the rocks, a big transaction. And you said that you were just going to take a second to make a phone call. You told us what was going on. You totally stayed present. After our group call, I've got our one-on-one, and we're into the one-on-one. And I thought, boy, this whole call is going to be talking about what was going on with this deal. And we get off the phone with the group call, and we're about to start the one-on-one call. And you're like, oh, 1 second. And you push the button and you come back up. You're like, oh, I just had to post my reel. Sorry. Like, you're still getting your work done, even when you're in the middle
Yeah.
of a stressful deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's more of coaching, I guess, from you and Agent Rise is like that mentality of houses don't bleed. This is just work. I got to get it. I'm
Mhm.
getting it out there because it's going to bring me another deal, and
Yeah.
if you can detach, right, not just
Yeah.
from the outcome of YouTube, but from everything, it really helps. And it's a repetition thing. It gets easier every single time. And I was not that way in my first couple years. It would have really bothered me. It would have messed up my whole day. It was a really big deal. Fell apart literally at the start of our coaching call, and it just you can't control it all. It's not my fault that it fell through. And it's not my emotions really to manage. I'm here as that conduit between the people. I'll give my advice and move on. If you detach from both the outcome of your content, what you're doing, and what happens with the deals, it's like the ultimate place to be. I'm not perfect with it. There's some that bother me still, depending on the situation, but it's just a way better place to be when you just let go of it all.
Yeah, we form the belief that no event justifies a negative feeling, right? And it's our reaction to that event that causes it and not the event itself. And you've really been able to have a sound mind and detach from the outcome, put the work in. I don't know of another guy that works harder than you, Eddie. Like, you really passionately care not only about your clients, but about your family. You've got great boundaries, great scheduling, and then that allows you to detach.
Just remember it's a process. This is not me on day one did not look like this setup. I didn't have my planner all the way down. It took a while to get my planner figured out, my 12-week plan. Like, I was always wondering, should I have it done perfectly the first time? But no, you don't. It takes repetition. I've restarted 12-week planners sometimes, but eventually everything just starts to piece together over time. So just give yourself some grace too, especially when you're taking on a new thing like YouTube or Instagram. Just give yourself grace with it and know it just gets easier and more put together. And the funnels and all that start to make sense. They might seem like total rocket science in the beginning. Like, to me, automations and all of that was like, I don't even know how to start. You just pick one little thing, do that day, and then just wait for the rest. It's just one thing at a time.
Yes, because in the very beginning, we weren't talking about call to actions. We weren't talking about lead magnets. We were just talking about getting videos out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Just stick with the where you are, right? Like you say, where your feet are, be where they are. Like today I'm just filming, and then I'll get really good at the call to action next time. I'll try, but
Yeah,
next time
yeah,
I'll think, okay, I've got the video figured out. Now let me think about what I'm actually saying in my script more, you
yeah.
know? And then next time, you know what? I've got those down. I'm going to play with my lighting this week. And it's just the most pressing thing at the time. Deal with that and let everything else go and just keep moving forward.
And if you're listening in, you might be wondering, if you might be wondering, what is a call to action? What do you mean by when you guys say call to action?
Yeah.
When we're in a video, I'm giving one here today, guys. If you want to text the word YouTube, say 833-500-1135. That's a call to action, right? A call to action in a video like yours might be like, hey, this neighborhood might not be the right one for you, but I've got a guide that has all of the neighborhoods in Frederick, right? Something like that. Could you say something along those lines?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, hey, whether you're 2 weeks away or a year away, it's never too soon to get a plan in place so you know exactly what to expect with your move. The best way to contact me is just go in the description below, click on the link to the plan your move call, and I'll take care of the rest. Right. That, you know,
You've
you got to
said
make
that
them feel
before, haven't
comfortable.
you?
I've said it so many times, right? In
I
the
love
beginning,
it.
I'm like reading it, and now I could just say I've got a handful that just come right out.
It's
And if
amazing.
you want more videos just like this, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm putting out new videos every week. And the more you say it, the more it sounds like you're talking to a friend versus a group, right? Because just like Instagram, YouTube is you're talking to one person, maybe a couple. Some people watch on Sundays together and watch your videos, but you're talking to one person most of the time. So just treat it like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a call to action. There you go.
Yeah, see,
Got it
and
down. You can
it's
take that
really
too. Take it word for word. It
yeah.
works. Yeah.
Take Eddie's advice when it comes to call to actions because I've got this radio background where when I feel like I've got a call to action, remember back in radio we used to have these cue cards, and they were ad spots that we would read before the next song came on, and we had to make them sound natural, and they were DJ read, and so nowadays when I do a call to action in a podcast, I bring out the DJ voice, and that's what you don't want to have, right? You want it to be like a
Right.
friend, right?
Yeah, yeah. Don't do the DJ voice. Be natural. And again, don't worry too much. You're going to get better at it every time. Don't overthink it. But yet, just treat your camera like a real person and think of a past client you had. And just like if you were talking to that really great client that you just closed with, or that friend that would be moving here, how would you talk to them? And that's how you talk to the camera. Like, hey, if you might be a year out, but the best thing you can do right now is just click on the link, schedule a call with me. I want to make sure your move goes as smoothly as possible, right? And when you feel it, like I really want to make sure your move goes smoothly, or I want to make sure you don't regret your move by picking the wrong place. And the way you do that is just to connect with me, or text me. If you don't want to do the whole Calendly setup, just send me a text and I'll help. I'll take care of the rest. You know, just treat them like it's someone you know, or treat the camera like it's someone you know.
Yes, yes. Oh, so good. Again, guys, we've got more coming out on YouTube. Eddie, it's just a pleasure working with you, and I'm so excited about all of the
Appreciate it.
you building your business the way you are, building a business that you love, and then pouring back into the community. Man, you're just amazing. You come to the summit every year and pour into everybody around you, and we love you, man. We're just so appreciative of you in
Yeah.
the community.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't be here without you, Neil, and the community. I mean, I wouldn't even be doing YouTube, right? Anything that I'm doing, it wouldn't be without you and Agent Rise. So I appreciate it. And if you are thinking about going to the summit, it's the best thing you could do for your career. And I'm sure you'll hear about that more in the future.
Yes, awesome. Appreciate you, buddy. How do they find Eddie Brady? You're up in Maryland.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I moving to Maryland with Eddie Brady on YouTube. It's just at moving to Maryland is the handle. And on Instagram, it's at Eddie Brady Real Estate. And if
Uh,
you type in hopefully Frederick Maryland Realtor, I should pop up as well.
yeah.
But at Eddie Brady Real Estate, and you'll find me on there.
Eddie, thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Neil.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to the Agent Rise podcast. And like always, remember to be the reason somebody smiles today.